Weekly.
Welcome to Discovery Weekly. Doesn't matter whether it's art or science or history or food, whatever. We just love discovering new things, and each week we're going to bring new topics that we learned about this week. I'm Zach.
I'm Kirk. And this week I found an article an article was shared by a friend of the podcast. He's actually been on the podcast before, Vikram Baliga, the host of Planthropology. And he posted this on Facebook. And I was like, hey, can I use this as a discovery? Because it's awesome. And he's like, yeah, of course, because it's really cool. And it's a proposal about using solar panels in the water canals in California. And it's genius in so many ways. It answers and it fixes so many problems. So basically, there's so many canals in California, which is not something we have here because we don't have that same issue. It says California has around 4,000 miles of canals. I did not know that.
Ridiculous.
4,000 miles of canals that shuttle clean water throughout the state. New research shows that these canals can do way more than bring California's residents good drinking water. Paired with solar panels, these canals might also be a way to both generate solar power and save water. This new study presents an analysis from researchers at the University of California, Merced, I don't know what that is, and University of California, Santa Cruz, that quantifies the economic feasibility of building a solar canal system in the state. So basically what it would be is there would be solar panels where there already are existing canals.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be over the water. California's water system is one of the largest in the world and brings critical water resources to over 27 million people. Shading the canals would lead to a reduction in evaporation of water. See, that's something I didn't think about at first.
Bonus.
Kind of like keeping your glass of water under the shade instead of out in the open on a hot summer day, preventing evaporation. Putting up a solar panel using trusses or suspension cables to act as canal's umbrella is what makes the double whammy of a solar canal. There's a quote in here. It says, we could save upwards of 63 billion gallons of water annually.
Wow.
63 billion gallons of water. That would be compared to the amount needed to irrigate 50,000 acres of farmland or meet the residential water needs of over 2 million people. One of the things that I thought was fascinating, like coming from an ag background, is a lot of these canals go through ag areas. And one of the impacts that they were talking about is like if you had generators that were being fed by these solar panels every now and then, specifically in the ag areas, that could power the irrigation systems on these farms rather than, these giant diesel pumps that are really bad for the environment. There's just so many different things that make this like such a good idea. Beyond just cooling down the canals, these solar panels can pick up loads of energy from being out in the open sunlight. While the analysis didn't measure how much capacity the solar panels would have, it's estimated that back of the envelope calculations is 13 gigawatts or half the projected new capacity needed for their 2030 decarbonization goals that they have in California.
Huh.
Yeah, and this last thing I wanted to say is so far the only test case of suspended solar panels are in India, in the city of Gujarat. I don't know. A canal top solar panel power plant cost $18 million in 2015, but has saved 16 hectares of land and trillions of gallons of water. So this has already been done. And in other locations where flowing water is not critical, floating solar panels have been installed on reservoirs and lakes around the world in places such as Japan and Indonesia. And one of the other things they mentioned in this article is that like they have a lot of, I think it's like grass and, like algae, like thick algae, like macroalgae that grow, and it clogs things up in the canals. And if you don't have direct sunlight on the canals, you wouldn't have that either. So it would be one of those things
just
that
makes sense.
Seems like a no-brainer, and it also would look awesome.
So is this kind of just a proposal at the moment?
Right now,
So
it's
right
just a
now they're
proposal.
trying to understand how this would all work. It's super interesting though. I really think that with solar getting better, we're going to find new applications for it all the time that are going to just be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and we see solar farms everywhere around here. You're not going to have to take away, you know, a field or ag land or anything like that because it's already been taken away for the canals.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about all that because they're putting solar panels everywhere right now. I mean, there's literally pastures nearby that have been turned into just giant solar farms,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
our local energy company down here has really put a lot on it. But I mean, we live in a state with like 364 days of sunlight.
yeah, and California, same thing. Like they say, what it never rains in California, um, but 4,000 miles of it. That's what they have to go with. That's just it's perfect in my opinion. I don't know. I thought it was genius, and hopefully, the ball gets rolling on something like that because it sounds like a really good idea.
It really does. So something else that has solar panels is the Ingenuity rover, and it's about to get really crazy. Or no, it's Perseverance is the rover, Ingenuity is the helicopter.
Okay,
Because
when you said that earlier, I was like, "What's Ingenuity?"
yeah, no,
I didn't know that was
it's
the name of the
the
helicopter.
helicopter. We are
Ah,
getting close. Perseverance has been on Mars for a while, sending amazing footage back. It so far everything's looking great, but we are getting close to what basically NASA is even calling humanity's first Wright brothers moment on another planet.
that's so
Its
cool.
first flight on another planet, and what they have done is underneath Perseverance is a tiny little helicopter, and what they have is a solar powered, very light helicopter that can essentially change, like it's going to be able to fly on its own. So they had to figure out how to do this down here. They actually included in Ingenuity a postage size or a postage stamp sized piece of muslin fabric that was from one of the wings on the Wright brothers' first airplane that
What?
is currently on Mars right
They're
now.
always doing really cool stuff. Like NASA's always doing really cool, like little nods to things like that.
Yes. And so they're thinking that the earliest this will happen will be April 8th. So that's the reason I wanted to bring this back up is
Hmm.
because
It's
it's
coming
getting
up.
close now. It's about to happen. And right now it's still just like underneath, it's in the kangaroo pouch of Perseverance right now. It's like underneath it and it's just waiting. But basically, very soon we're going to have the first test flight. And what they're going to do is they have a place where they're going to set this up. They're going to run a test flight, and it has this whole thing where and this is maybe the craziest thing to me is all of this. I think there's maybe even like minutes of delay on commands. So they send commands from Earth, and it takes a really long time for the signals to even get there. And so they are going to just send commands to a helicopter on another planet, and the helicopter is going to detach itself from the bottom of Perseverance. It's going to unfold its landing legs. An electric motor will complete the rotation of the helicopter until it's vertical, and the other two landing legs will unfold, and then it will fly. And so,
That still blows my mind. I mean, like the fact that we're able to do that from so far away. I don't even get good Wi-Fi in my backyard, and I'm in a tiny house. Like, how are we able to send
I,
signals all the way to another planet? That's ridiculous.
I don't even. It's
It's fake.
crazy.
It's fake
But
stuff.
they've never done anything like this. They've said basically all of the deployment. Trying to deploy something secondarily from the rover, we've never done. So all of this is brand new, and basically it's kind of a this is going to happen, and there's no turning back type thing, because there's things that will like blow. There's a cable cutting pyrotechnic device, which basically it's going to free Ingenuity from Perseverance.
Hmm.
So basically, they're going to blow something and it's going to be able to get free. So all of this stuff is going to be, it's going to happen. And whatever happens after that, happens. We're just going to have to see because there's no turning back on it. So apparently they will check and make sure that they're going to drop the helicopter, and it's going to actually, let me go ahead and show you a picture of the helicopter here. So this is what it looks like. This was a picture taken here on Earth. And so this entire box is up inside. So you have your solar panels here on top. And basically, they're not doing anything crazy with this. What they're trying to do is basically just see how we can do it, because they're going to have, with the battery, it's going to have 31 days where it can do test flights. So that's going to be crazy because who knows what's going to happen. And it can include up to 5, depending on the success of the first one. The first flight involves it lifting about 10 feet off the ground and hovering for 30 seconds before landing. So you see what I'm saying? They're testing it. They're like,
Yeah.
we don't really know what's going to happen. Let's go 10 feet, see if it's okay. And then if it is, they'll keep going. But within hours of the first flight, data will be sent back from Ingenuity, as well as the rover's cameras and microphones that will watch and record the flight to determine if it was successful. We will get to watch the drone footage of this thing on Mars.
You and me watched the live stream of them talking about the landing and stuff, and they were like analyzing the video. And I thought it was fascinating. It was so funny because these people, these NASA people, were so excited. And like they were talking about little things that were like, I mean, I don't get it, but that sounds really cool. Like the minutia of what
they really
could have went wrong and
you
stuff.
You saw the thing about the parachute, right? You remember that footage of the parachute deploying? They hid a message in that. They used the colors and the breaks in there to write a message, and the message was "Dare Mighty Things," which is kind of a cool thing. But yeah, then 2 days after the helicopter's little test flight, everything's gonna be sent back, and so then they're gonna start planning. And so basically, they're just trying to. I think they have some time before either the weather or the battery isn't going to last anymore. And so they're going to just try and do as much as they can. But basically, part of why this is interesting is because Mars has a very different atmosphere than we do. So it's just 1% the density of Earth's atmosphere. And so it just is completely different trying to fly in that. Everything that we use is based on the type of atmosphere we have and how it reacts with us trying to fly. And it also, Mars receives half of the solar energy that Earth does during the daytime. So that's why it's small and lightweight. But basically, and this is, I'll leave you with kind of this last quote. Every step we have taken since this journey began 6 years ago has been uncharted territory in the history of aircraft. And while getting deployed to the surface will be a big challenge, surviving that first night on Mars alone, without the rover protecting it and keeping it powered, will be an even bigger one. So literally just having it on the surface is going to be a challenge. So it's just, it's really cool that we're getting to watch history like this, and that there's cameras and everything that we can literally watch it.
Did you see the picture they sent back the other day?
I haven't seen a new picture from them.
They sent a 360 picture. It's 1.2 billion pixels. It's a panorama, so you can look all the way around Curiosity rover. It's just, I didn't realize what it. I don't think I really realized what it meant when there's that many pixels. And you can zoom in and it looks the same. It's just, it's crazy how clear these pictures are. And
it is a great time to like space things.
Yes,
it is just a great time because you can watch
things.
You can watch the ISS on Twitch.
Yes, they were streaming a spacewalk the other day. It blew my mind. I'm like, they're live. There's someone playing Overwatch over here, and then there's an astronaut in space streaming. At the same time,
an astronaut that could literally be above your head.
It's crazy.
Thousands of miles, just tethered, and other than that, completely floating in the infinite universe.
So cool.
It's so cool. I love it.
So Zach, get ready to pull up some visuals for the live stream. By the way, if you're listening to the podcast, we do live stream on Twitch at podcastdiscoveryshow.twitch.tv. Nope. Twitch.tv/podcastdiscoveryshow.
Yep.
That's how it works. But I found this article, and there are some visuals for it that I think don't quite do justice unless you see them. There is a competition in Great Britain that is about giant vegetable growing. And I feel like this is a missed opportunity. Maybe it's going to be in season 2 of We Are the Champions, because this is an amazing competition that
I would watch that.
Oh, I would love to watch an episode on this. But so it's a competition about growing giant vegetables. And there's a great story to it. And it's hilarious. And the guy in this article, his name was Pete Glazerbrook.
I'll go ahead and show everybody what Pete looks like.
He's the one that in the first picture is holding an 18-pound onion.
Gigantic onion.
And I don't know if there's anybody in the history that looks as British as this guy.
I mean, he's also cradling an onion, so there's a lot going on in this picture.
It's great. For Peter Glazerbrook, there was one bright spot to 2020. A leak that he entered into last year's Manfield's Grow Show, which judges declared to be monstrous, 4 feet long, won him a new world record. That makes 16 world records that I've ever held over the years, Glazerbrook said. However, it's a competitive hobby, so I currently only hold 3 because they're just constantly being beaten by like
everybody's trying to one up.
Years.
It's like I can make a bigger leak than that.
Today is the prouder grower. He is the proud grower of the world's heaviest cauliflower by 60 pounds. He's 60-pound cauliflower, potato, which is a 10-pound potato, and as of 2020, the longest leek. Glazebrook, a lithe 76-year-old former building surveyor from Nottinghamshire. That sounds made up.
I'm sure it's probably called like Nottinghamshire. You know, I don't know. I can never pronounce their names because I feel like it's always colloquial. Like there's some kind of different regional way to pronounce it.
Is one of the most decorated competitors in the world when it comes to the uniquely British sport of growing giant vegetables. For years, he has dominated a competition that's grown from a Welsh bar bet into a massive online community of giant vegetable enthusiasts with participants on every continent. It's expanded beyond all recognition, says Kevin Forte, the unofficial spokesperson for the giant veg community. But if 30-foot-long beets, 10-pound tomatoes, or 1-ton pumpkins sound like a waste of food and time, government researchers around the world are now taking a serious look at Leviathan produce. That was part of I mean, it's cool that there's a competition, but there's like multiple layers to this story, almost like an onion. Yeah,
terrible.
That's
terrible.
Said it. What I love is this is another one of the layers is that it all started with a bet at a bar. That's how this whole competition started. It was just a bit of banter over a pint, really, said Forte, over who could grow the biggest pumpkin. His father, Mike Forte, helped turn the informal challenge among local pub goers into an annual event, and that was in 1980. Yet both the event and the vegetables quickly outgrew the venue. By the mid-'80s, the pumpkins grew so big that they couldn't fit through the pub doors, Forte said. Soon the competitors were no longer just pub regulars either. People were coming from all over Wales, then all over England for this contest. And that's about the time that Peter Glazebrook started getting into giant vegetable growing. And there's other pictures. There's a picture of. Did you show the picture of him wheeling?
I did show the picture of him with the cabbage because it was a great description.
Cabbage.
Here he is. That is a 70-pound cabbage right there in a wheelbarrow. And I like how everybody's just looking at him smiling. They're like, what are you doing right now, buddy?
I like to think that that's not even at the competition. It's just him at a farmer's market. He's like, I'm going to my stall and I'm going to sell this 70-pound cabbage.
I like to think he was just taking it on a walk. He wasn't doing anything specific with it.
Glazebrook has even made a habit of sharing seeds among close friends and competitors. There's a quote. He says, I've taken the view that if anyone can put it in more time, knowledge, and an effort than me, they deserve to win. Of course, this generosity has sometimes backfired. He says, I lost my onion record to my own seeds, because he had shared the seeds with another competitor and they ended up winning the next year and knocking him off of his pedestal as the owner of the biggest onion. He says it softens the blow a bit that the cash prize at the national competition is rarely anything above $50 or
$50.
50 pounds.
Still, just that it's for fun. It's for fun.
It
It's
is,
not
it
this.
is.
That is not
It's
his
like-
livelihood.
It's like on We Are the Champions when there was like the one that I thought was hilarious was the frog jumping.
Yeah.
And you won like, I don't know, like $100 or something.
Yeah. Now, many of those, like the cheese one, I think you just get the cheese.
Yeah.
They just give you the cheese and that's it.
And there's so many people that like
It's
broken clavicles.
no, but I like it better
cheese
because you do it for the love of the game and that's it.
For the love of the cheese. Ultimately, Glazebrook is either too sage or too seasoned to lose sleep over the loss of a world record or two. You need a good challenge to start again each year, he says. This last part before I close is one of my favorites. But after achieving vegetable victory, what can a gardener do with a person-sized zucchini or a pumpkin that weighs as much as a 2015 Mini Cooper? And this is another layer. Is like some people are like, well, is this a waste? Are you just going to waste this fruit or vegetable or whatever? One common misconception is that since they're grown for size, not consumption, giants are virtually inedible, good for little more than cow feed or compost. While Forte admits some big veggies can get a bit woody, he's determined to disprove the notion that giants can't also taste great. One Christmas, he and his son turned giant competition beetroots into beet and chili sauce, and a giant zucchini into 1,000 jars of chutney.
1,000 jars of chutney.
Which they distributed throughout the community. Glazebrook often eats his own massive produce, especially enjoying oversized beans and tomatoes in the summer. The unexpected edibility of these outrageously large vegetables is perhaps what caught the eye of government entities far outside the orbit of the competition's growing world. Some of Forte's seeds were requested by the Australian Antarctic Division, who are currently planting giant cucumber seeds in a shipping container in Antarctica. No real feedback yet, says Forte. He's also consulting with a university in Spain regarding a research project funded by the Basque government on giant beets. I can't release what it is in specific detail, says Forte, but it's around gastronomy and will end the myth about woody vegetables. And this is maybe my favorite thing to end on. While not a government entity, Snoop Dogg also once approached Forte for advice. He says, I do I love how the way he worded it too. This is a quote. I do vegetation myself. Snoop told the BBC. There's so many things that could mean.
No, I mean,
from coming from Snoop Dogg.
There really is one thing it can mean. He's like, dude, can you make me the biggest weed plant in the history of the world?
I do vegetation myself. For shizzle.
I would love to hear a conversation between Snoop Dogg and this guy, Glazebrook.
Oh man, but it's a great story. It was a great discovery. I loved seeing these giant vegetables, and like I said, there was so many layers to the story as well. And who would have known that Snoop Dogg would have been part of it?
Who knew that Snoop Dogg was into vegetation? So
he loves vegging out.
There's a new thing that I want to incorporate to the show. And this all came, I want to tell you the story on the first one. I was watching a video on Instagram, and that's all. It was just a random thing. And I saw this little dog, and it had what looked like a little, have you ever seen those like chip bag clips? That's like, it's just like a little clip that will hold the chip bag closed. It looked like it had one on its tail. And it was fine. It wasn't like in pain or anything. I was like, what is that? So I Googled putting a clip
tail dog.
I put a clip on a dog's tail, and most of it was like docking tails, so like most of it was like dogs that have their tail docked. But then there was one thing called a poochie, and a poochie is one of the more ridiculous inventions I've ever seen in my life. A poochie, and I'm going to pull this up so everyone on the stream can see it for sure. A poochie is what is a little clip that they put I'm trying to think how to describe this so that you can understand. They put a little clip on the base of your dog's tail, and attached to the clip are bags so that you never have to pick up your dog's poop again. And it is just like hooked onto your dog. And so in theory, the bag is just there and it's done. It just goes in there. And I was like, this is really weird. And I don't know how well this works. Let me see if I can find this. I had an Amazon listing of it where it was essentially
pictures of it, of what it's supposed to do.
No, I don't think anyone put pictures, but I'll summarize it. Basically, they were talking about how it doesn't always catch things, which is weird how that works. But like, it made me wonder what exactly, what other kind of weird stuff is on Amazon that you can purchase and that we could recommend to people. Here, I did find. It's not the name brand, but I'm going to show you the picture so you can get a better idea what we're talking about here. So
see this.
This is exactly what the other one looks like, the Poochie that I was hearing about. So you clip this on your dog's tail, like base of its tail, and this bag goes strategically right over something so that things fall in the bag. And then apparently you can just take the bag, but I feel very skeptical that it's going to work. So
how does that? Yeah,
because you can see here, this is the plan. You put it on the tail, and then your dog just doesn't even know it's happening. And then you have this guy here. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw up." Like it's like, you don't do this anymore. Just let your dog walk around with that on there. I have a hard time believing that dog would be fine with that. But that brings me to what I think would be a fun new segment called Amazon Discoveries. And I have an Amazon Discovery for you right now. Have you ever wanted a giant Baguette pillow? Because you can get one. And I'm talking gigantic. Look at this thing. It's like 3 to 4 feet long.
No, you have to say this like it's an infomercial.
3D simulation, bread-shaped plush pillow, soft butter, toast bread, food cushion, stuffed toy for home decor, 31.4 inches.
No, you're going to be like, are you tired of sleeping and dreaming about bread being your pillow? Or sleeping on a pillow of bread?
Have you always wanted to lay on a giant baguette? Well, don't let your dreams be dreams. Because the 3D simulation, bread-shaped plush pillow, soft butter toast, bread food cushion, stuffed toy for home decor, 31.4 inches can do that for you. And then if you read this description, it's even better. Simulation toast bread shaped plush pillow, 3D printing. What is 3D printed about this? What delicate plush fabric, very interesting and realistic and vivid. Really novel food throw pillow. The bread food pillows are made of high quality short plush and feel comfortable. The high grade PP cotton is filled, full, shaped, and will not be deformed, which is very suitable for hugs. Print design.
Very suitable for hugs.
Yes. Realistic shape, vivid patterns, exquisite workmanship. That's very generous. Is the perfect gift choice for Christmas, Valentine's Day. So you hear that, everybody. If you want to get a romantic gift, you know what they want? They want this.
It's a Baguette body pillow is what it is.
It is a giant baguette. But look, you shouldn't do this part. You shouldn't eat it. It's a pillow. You don't want to eat that. That's not good. But and here's the instructions. Really, I love this. Vacuum sealed. Number 2, rubs. Number 3, stretch. Number 4, place one day.
I love how you can tell that this was not written in English.
No, it was very clearly not.
This was Google translated.
Bread plush cushions can be found anywhere, such as beds, sofas, chairs, bikes, home decor, holiday dresses, etc. A very interesting experience. First of all, they're not wrong. If you were to somehow put this baguette on your bike, or I don't even know what holiday dresses means.
What is that?
But yeah, if you try and wear this baguette as a holiday dress, that is a very interesting experience.
Oh man.
But yeah, then it looks like we also have some shoes down here too. If you need to like complete the ensemble, like you want your feet to look like baguettes too. But yeah, that's my first Amazon discovery, because you know what? Sometimes you need to be able to hug a giant baguette pillow, and now you can do that. You're welcome, everybody.
That is amazing. I love the new segment. I love Amazon discoveries. It might spin off to just our own whole nother podcast because it's great.
No, I was really happy with the quality of the description on this one. But you know what? I think that we need to go to some reviews.
Rubs.
I'm trying to make sure none of these are weird. I'm a little concerned about that. I'm a 5'8" beast of a woman, and this is as long, if not longer, than my torso. This is a pillow made for the French king himself. Should you not partake of it, it would be your very worst regret. Although one might need to stuff it a little more to achieve max puff, all caps. I'm very happy with it, and I'm quite content with my purchase. Makes for a wonderful gift. And then there's a lot of people who complain that there's not enough stuffing in the baguette. There's a lot of them.
They didn't rubs it. They didn't rubs it
Yeah,
enough.
no, they didn't rubs, and they didn't leave one day. Like, I mean, you got to read the
rubs it.
You have to read the directions. They tell you how to do it. Yeah, rubs is it was number 2. It's very easy. It's very early in the list.
You can't skip step 2.
And then we have another one here. This is the best thing I ever bought. Proud of myself for buying it. Proud of you for making it. Thanks. Short and sweet and to the point.
I feel like that one maybe was one of those what do they call it? Threshing scams?
Brushing or whatever.
Brushing scams, yeah.
But
they paid somebody to leave that review.
Yeah, maybe. There's a chance of that. But yeah,
I'm
basically,
proud of you for making it.
In general, most people are fairly happy with it, and you can be really happy if you put a little extra stuffing in it.
It's the producer's mom. I'm so proud of you for making this, son.
You did a great job. Then there's one guy, 5-star review. Do it, bro. Get the break pillow. He spelled bread wrong. You won't regret it. No, but yeah.
Man.
So yeah, that's our first of hopefully many Amazon discoveries. And I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said for this one. But yeah,
no,
thanks.
That's it speaks for itself.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. We will have a link to the bread pillow in the show notes in case you would like to purchase your own. But maybe we'll do
a giveaway one day of the bread pillow.
We should do and okay, I'm gonna check this while she's saying it. There probably is a pickle plush. We're gonna take a look.
Now you know what to get me for Christmas.
There is, but it's just Fiesta Toys, Mr. Pickle.
There's
Pickle Rick. No, but Mr. Pickle, yeah, it's mostly Pickle Rick. So Rick and Morty has ruined the ability to just get giant pickles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. It's how about a Clausen plush throw blanket? So Kirk can look like he is literally inside of a jar of pickles.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Here, I'll show everyone on stream real quick. So yeah, Kirk can look like he's inside this jar of pickles. There's lots of things, and we're going to find lots of great stuff from Amazon for everyone to check out. But yeah, thanks so much for listening. We have tons of ways to get in touch, and we hope that you do.
Thank you guys so much. Talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
This was a podcast from the Podfix Network. You can check out more shows like it